Okay. All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming out late tonight. It's great to see all of you. So early this morning, I was able to take a flight down to the Texas border, down to the town of Eagle Pass, where I met with Governor Abbott and 13 other of my fellow governors. We received a briefing from the Department of Public Safety, the Texas Department of Public Safety, as well as the Texas Department of the Military. The Adjutant General addressed us as well. We were able to review all of the data from the border crossings there and talk about what has been happening on the border. Now, none of this is a secret. It's something we've been talking about for years, but things have gotten significantly worse, especially over the past year. It's a record number of illegal migrants who crossed the border illegally, and we're talking about 3.2 million people in just the last calendar year. And to put that into perspective, there are 3.4 million people in the state of Utah right now. So we're the 30th largest state in the nation. So an equivalent to our number of people. And those are the people that we know about. Those are the people who came across and were apprehended. We know there are significantly more than that who came across that were not apprehended. This is deeply concerning for obvious reasons. One, of course, is public safety. While most of the immigrants who are coming are very good people looking for something better, and I want to say right up front that there are lots of false narratives around here. That if you care about border security, that means you hate immigrants or refugees. That is not true. Utah is a state who loves immigrants and refugees. We are, I believe, the most welcoming state in the country when it comes to our immigrants and refugees. But we have to do this in an orderly manner, and that is not happening at all. Now, we also know that over 160 people who are on the terrorist watch list in the United States were apprehended crossing our southern border. Again, those are the people that we know about. So even if it's less than 1% that are crossing that mean to do harm to Americans, that's a huge number when we're talking about 3.2 million people and an unacceptable number. We also know that our cities and states are being overrun. The resources that we have available are being tapped out, and sadly, the federal government has once again just completely abdicated their responsibility. President Biden can't fix all of this, but he could fix most of this with the authority that he has right now. And he knows this, and his administration knows this, and they're willfully choosing not to do the things that could stop this from happening. This humanitarian catastrophe that is taking place at the border, people that are losing their lives, risking their lives to come here because they've been told that we have an open border. And so we are working very closely with the state of Texas and other states to support them in ways that we can to help make sure that we're doing what we can up until the federal government actually starts to fulfill their responsibilities. Now, there's also Congress does need to act. The president can do things without Congress, and he should. But Congress has also abdicated their responsibility for the past 40 years to help fix some of the things that are broken with immigration, and we would encourage Congress to do their part. But first and foremost, President Biden needs to do his part and work to actually just implement the laws that are on the books, which say that you have to detain illegal immigrants and remove those that don't qualify to be here. I'm happy to take any questions.
Governor, you're adding your voice to many others who are out there on this saying more needs to be done, more needs to be done. Why is it so important for Utahns, the border issues right now?
Yeah, so it's important because it's putting a strain on our resources as well. We've heard several governors say that every state is a border state right now. And again, when you're talking about 3.2 million people, that in 1 year, that doesn't count the years before that, which were also all records, 2 million and change the year before that. These numbers are unsustainable, and many people do make their way to Utah. Every single state has illegal immigrants that are coming into their state once they've been released, once they've requested asylum, and then just been let go. Many of them do not follow up, do not go to their asylum hearings. The courts are backlogged because there aren't enough resources, and so we are being impacted as well.
What about the impacts of drugs, the
Yeah.
fentanyl?
We talked about that. And I don't have those numbers, I apologize, in front of me, but we can get you those numbers. The fentanyl numbers, as well as the meth numbers, the P2P meth, and some of the most damaging drugs that are out there. The numbers that are being apprehended at the border are just they're mind blowing, and we know what that translates into. We know that those are pills that are coming across. Far too often, a young person thinking they're taking an Adderall or something to help on a test ends up taking something that's laced with fentanyl and loses their life. So we have overdoses. You see people, the new meth that's coming across over the past couple of years leaves people in kind of a zombie state. It's increasing homelessness across our country and addiction. And you can literally walk through downtown Salt Lake City and see the impacts of those drugs that are coming across the border with Mexico. So that's another, again, public safety reason that we need to do more to protect our borders and then again fix legal immigration so that people can come through the front door the right way.
You also tweeted that this is inhumane. Can you paint us a picture of what you saw on the border?
Sure. Yeah. So because we went to a place where Texas has responded, we were actually at a site where just in December they had 3,000 to 5,000 immigrants crossing every day. In the past 3 days, they've had 3 people cross because basically Texas is building a border wall. That's what they've been doing and what they were able to do in this place. But as we talked through what was happening at that time, there were several drownings, and the Texas National Guard and others had rescued many people. Now there was one report of a drowning that was blamed on Texas because of the wire that they had put up. That was incorrect. The drowning actually took place on the Mexican side of the river before they ever got across. In fact, they had rescued more. But this is part of the humanitarian crisis that we're talking about. There are fewer deaths along that stretch of the river because Texas is telling people, and they're telling them audibly as well, do not cross. You cannot get into the country. So people aren't risking crossing the river and dying. So lives are being saved there as well. And then there's the question of what happens when people actually get here and there isn't a place for them. They end up under overpasses in the cold as they come to a city and realize there are no resources in that city, whether they end up in New York City, Denver, Salt Lake City, or somewhere else.
Many Utahns may see this crisis on TV. What would you tell them? What's the message you have for folks here?
Yeah, my message is that this, regardless of your politics, and I can tell you, I'm hearing from Democratic mayors, I'm hearing from Democratic governors for the first time who are saying, yeah, this is an issue, this is a crisis, and we should all be concerned about this, and we should be putting pressure on the president of the United States, whose job it is to enforce the laws that are on the books and is not doing that. We should also be putting pressure on Congress to help deal with some of these things. Again, part of stopping illegal immigration is to fix legal immigration. We're incentivizing all of the wrong things. And that's putting people's lives at risk, and again, making it very dangerous for people here. As some terrible people are crossing the border, are committing crimes here. That's just it's just not a good way to run a country. And I'm grateful for my fellow governors who are willing to step up and willing to enforce federal laws if the federal government is not going to do that. Anyone else? All right,
Great.
you're cold.
Thank you,
Let's get you all back.
Governor.
Thanks, everybody. I won't
Thanks so
walk off
much.
with all your microphones. We'll try to